Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your Burnley 1, Chelsea 4 review. And I'm doing this backwards. I'm going from second half to first half because I'm not going to dampen nobody's day after a 4-1 win, talking about the goal conceded in the first half and the kind of ebb and flow and the back and forth in the first half. It wasn't great. There was moments where I was cussing, but we will talk about that later because we must start with the highlights, with the good things, with the positives. And it is Raheem Sterling. Absolutely critical, crucial to all goals in this game. Just an unbelievable performance. Even in the first half, he was looking the most threatening. He was, creating the opportunities. He's the one that created the own goal just towards the back end of the first half, but he had a couple of other moments as well. And this is a Raheem Sterling on that left wing. And for both flanks today, they didn't have any fullbacks overlapping. They didn't have any fullbacks underlapping, any support. Cucurella very much stationary right back. Colwell very much stationary left back. They didn't have much support. So many a time they were taking on 2-3 players at once. But Sterling today in that second half, even without that Matson sub at left back that I was kind of maybe thinking could help him, could give him more support, he took the game by the scruff of the neck. He got that own goal for us and then he just laid it all out there. He said, listen, I'm going to go again and I'm going to continue to create. And everything he did on that left-hand side was positive, was direct, going after players 1v1, and he took his goal fantastically well, put the ball across fantastically well for Palmer and for Jackson. We'll talk about that. Like everything he did today was just positive, was on the money. So Raheem Sterling, this is a Raheem Sterling that was taken out the team against Fulham. He was ill, right, or whatever, but Mudryk started ahead of him. And then he's on the bench. He comes on against Fulham, doesn't really do much. That's the kind of competition that's necessary, that's needed at this club. Because now players are starting to get into fitness again. We're seeing some players that are getting dropped, that are getting benched, that haven't really performed well in recent weeks. And now they've got to clap back, they've got to respond, they've got to rise, and they've got to say, listen, I want to be here, I want to do business. And that's what Raheem Sterling did today. He was benched, he come back into the team today. Mudryk wasn't quite ready to start. Most people didn't want to see Sterling start today. Most people want to see Mudryk. When Sterling was on the team sheet, a lot of people were complaining, right? Understandably so, he's not been playing well, but he responded today, put in a serious performance. And the finish, listen, the finish is clinical, man. Left foot, crossed the goalkeeper, wonderful. And like I said, he was just on it. I'm very, very happy for him. And now we've got a little bit of a selection headache going into the Arsenal after the international break, potentially for Pochettino. That's what you want. That's exactly what you need. But second half, it wasn't just about Sterling. It was about also the fact that Caicedo, for me today, Caicedo was the silent assassin. Whether it's tackles, interceptions, winning all of his duels, passing, everything today was just taking responsibility in the first phase, being press resistant, receiving the ball, keeping things ticking. And then for that goal, which Gallagher assisted, really good passing to Sterling that we mentioned earlier, wonderful left-footed finish. Who started that? Who's the person that put his foot in, won that tackle, and started that whole move, that whole play? It was Caicedo. Because Caicedo today was so integral. This is the player that I said, listen, the money's too much now. He is overpriced, but it doesn't matter anymore. Get this guy in because the quality that he has, whether it's from a passing perspective, switching play today, whether it's from winning tackles, winning interceptions, winning his duels, aerially he's competent as well, does his job. This guy was he was playing well above his years. He was playing much older than he actually is. Today he was so important for the balance of the midfield, especially when Enzo didn't have one of his best games. Enzo today was a bit sloppy on the ball in possession. He gave the ball away a few times. His long balls were fantastic, really good, nice switches, long passes, but some of the shorter passes were a little bit sloppy. He wasn't at his best. Gallagher was better than him, really. He got an assist in the end as well. Was winning the ball, was tenacious. I love what Poch is doing with Palmer and Gallagher. I've got to speak on it. This interchange is beautiful. So now we've got Caicedo and Enzo in the deep midfield positions. Add Lavia to that. Add Leslie Okuchukwu to that. You've got 4 for 2 positions. It's perfect chemistry, perfect harmony, perfect balance, right? 2 holding midfielders, and you've got 2 players that potentially can kick on and be 8s, right? Then he's got Gallagher playing as a 10, but sometimes he's got Gallagher on the right wing and Palmer dropping as the 10. So Palmer's receiving the ball, even in the first half. Palmer's receiving the ball as much as possible and as much more than Gallagher. And Gallagher is taking those other positions where we might not be in possession, but he's counter-pressing. He's winning those tackles, interceptions, and he's driving the team forward. And then when he is asked to make that key pass that he had to make for Sterling's goal, he plays the right pass, and again, he does what he needs to do. So I was very happy with Gallagher today. Palmer, gets his goal, gets his assist. He took his penalty so well. Who won the penalty? Raheem Sterling. Who won the penalty? Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling was involved in everything. You can't go anywhere without mentioning Raheem Sterling today. Beautiful penalty from Cole Palmer. My mind kind of went back to West Ham. What would it have been if we had Cole Palmer taking that penalty? Could have gone ahead in the first half against West Ham. But listen, we can't rewind the clock. Composure, calm, put the ball in the back of the net, and that put us in the lead, and obviously then the other goals. I'm not doing it in any order because I'm just buzzing. I'm buzzing. I was screaming in that watch. I can't scream anymore. Every single goal, I was living and dying by each goal because I need this team to win today. I need this team to be on the front foot in this league and to push up the table because this team is so likable. Even the photos, the team photos that were going out, the vibes, Madueke, him and Poch, you know, putting handshakes again, all good, squashed any disagreements over the whole night out. Just the squad is so together. Young players, they got a great vibe about them. The attitude spot on, the hard work that they put on the pitch. Sometimes, yes, there's individual errors this season. There's penalties given away or there's bad mistakes, poor passes. Sometimes, yes. And to be fair, sometimes it's been the experienced players doing that too. Sometimes, yes, the final third, they're not clinical. They haven't put the ball in the back of the net when they should. But one thing I've seen consistently with this team this season is the hard work. They haven't capitulated. They're not getting battered, even when, you know, things are going against them. And they are mentally in tune with the game. They're constantly going for it. Even when, you know, their finishing is sometimes horrendous. But the last 2 games, guys, 2 goals and then 4. I mean, to see 4 goals in a game, it's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. And Cole Palmer, of course, getting an assist for Jackson. This link up. The one thing I would say with that 11, I felt Broja today in that first half. Broja clearly was not really at the races in terms of his fitness. I feel Broja was playing there today in that first half. He looked like he should be on the bench. He was there too early. You know, he felt a bit sluggish, you know. And then when Jackson comes on, he's a lot more nippy, a lot more sharp, a lot more, you know, he gets about the pitch a bit quicker. Beautiful piece of skill as well in the second half where he does little twirl, gets away from the defender, wins a free kick high up the pitch. Again, the hold up play, fantastic. Ball comes across from Sterling. Palmer takes his time. The chemistry from Brighton goes again in this game. They link up and Jackson's quick feet, man. This is why I'm sticking by Jackson. This is why I love Jackson. People get onto me for believing in Jackson. That composure, that calm head to just say, I'm not gonna, rush this shot. I'm not gonna snatch at this shot. I'm not gonna just smash it into the block of the oncoming defender. I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna think about it, take a touch, turn, and I'm a finish. And it was just him and Palmer, that connection. You add in Cuckoo on that, who was showing a bit with Jackson in pre-season. You add Carney, who was on the bench, Carney Chukwuemeka, to that as well. Oi, oi, oi. Listen, this attack may not be the most clinical, but like I said at the start of the season, when everybody's available, they should be sharing out the goals. Cole Palmer gets a couple of goals. Sterling gets a couple of goals. Jackson gets a couple of goals. Broja gets a couple of goals. Nkuku gets some goals. Bro, Carney gets some goals. Gallagher gets some goals. Madueke gets some goals. Bro, when you put that whole attack together, there's enough in there to get enough goals to get ourselves into Champions League spots. And I do not back down from that objective. Because when you see some of the link up and some of the chemistry and some of the understanding coming back again, I didn't even add Mudryk into that. Mudryk is another one. There's enough quality and options in that attack. Enough, you know, different attributes to mix together and hopefully put together some goals. That attack should still be exciting us this season. Even though there's no 30-goal striker in it, I said you don't need a 30-goal striker to make Champions League. Man United last season, they had fucking Martial and Weghorst. Do you know what I'm saying? Arsenal have Jesus and Nketiah. You don't need a 30-goal striker, but everybody's got to contribute. And when everybody's fit, and then people are losing their place, getting benched against Fulham. Mudryk comes out today, Sterling comes back in, and Cuckoo, when he comes back fit, out goes Palmer, in comes Carney, in goes Jackson, out goes Broja. I'm telling you, that attack there can do something decent. At least can get us where we should be. And the defence today, listen, they had an absolute calam on the goal. I don't want to get into it too much because it was a rare moment where they all just had brain farts, very similar to West Ham. You know, there's multiple mistakes. Sanchez didn't even dive. Silva didn't engage. You know, Correa today on the right back position was getting cooked a little bit. They had a quick, tricky, pacey winger out there and he wasn't quite handling it. But again, I can't get onto him too much because he's playing way out of position. He's doing the job for us. We don't have any right backs. Again, we didn't have anybody on the fullback positions overlapping today. This is what I'm talking about. You see this attack that got 4 goals. They don't even have fullbacks overlapping. There's not even a Reece James or Gusto. There's not even a left back overlapping. This is what I'm talking about. There's so much more to come for this team. There's so much more to bring. So listen, they were all having brain farts in that defense. Disasi today, second half. This guy again, he's just so good. His passing in tight spaces, he did a bit of skill, gave us a little bit of panache, a little bit of flair. Disasi again today. I'm gonna give him a mention because I know people are annoyed that he didn't get a mention in the Fulham review, even though I brought him up on the watch along. I spoke about him yesterday in the preview as one of my 3 players to give flowers. Disasi again gonna get his flowers. But for me, the key players today, exceptional. Sterling, Caicedo, critical. Gallagher very good. Palmer very good at times. And then, of course, the options off the bench. And yeah, man, it was just cooking today. It really was. 4 goals and the mentality to come from 1 goal down. You know, 1 goal down, everybody's fearing the worst. We don't score a lot of goals. How are we going to get back into this game? But they stood up. They stood up, and there's goals and there's development. More importantly, there's development to come from this team. If you see Odegaard putting in 15 goals in a Premier League season, best believe that should be what Cole Palmer is targeting over the next couple of years. If you see Martinelli and Saka putting in goals, best believe that's what Mudryk, you know, and Nkuku 100% will be looking at. He's well above their age. Do you know what I'm saying? Jackson, you could maybe throw in there. We have players that can get goals. They just need to be developed. They need to be nourished. They need to have confidence. They need to have some consistency and chemistry. And I'm telling you, those attackers out there, they've shown in glimpses today that there's something to be cooking and there's something to be looking forward to. So it's not to say that we don't get anyone in January, but it's just to say that my headspace right now is very much focused on backing these boys and making sure that I think about them first before I think about others, because we're always looking outside. What can we grab, take? We've spent $1 billion. We've brought in so many players. This January window, I want stability. I don't want too much movement in the window, in or out. I want the team to just do the season. Just do the season. Confidence will build. And I can't wait for those big games after the international break, man. Absolutely buzzing with that. Make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below with that performance. Serious comeback. It's a shame that McTominay had to go and bang in 2 for Manchester United, because we were going to dance on their head tops and leave them in the bottom half of the table. But here's what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? No better way to mark, rest in peace, Kathy, the passing of Sir Alex Ferguson's wife, with 2 goals in Fergie time. So, do you know what? Fuck it. We'll let them have it today. You know what I mean? We'll let them have it today. Not a problem. McTominay did his thing. Guys, make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe. See you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace. Come on.